Hello guys, before we start the video I have a quick public announcement to make. I don't know if it's a public announcement more than just a sort of general information. Really it's a apology for disappearing again. It's been about month and a half since the last video, maybe longer. I'm not counting exactly, but either way, it's been a while since the last episode. I did genuinely intend for this episode to come out much sooner. Yeah, that didn't happen. Basically, I've had a big old pain trying to get this episode edited. Basically, I had it all edited up, ready to go, about to export it, and I found that the timeline had been completely jumbled up, and this was just down to my editor. My editor just, I don't know, had a bad day, the project file got messed up probably, and it just changed it all. So then I lost massive amount of motivation to do this because I checked it all and realised that the timeline was completely messed up. I just couldn't, it was unrecoverable. I decided about a month and a half later to get a more robust one, so I've actually bought a Adobe Premiere Pro. Well, I've bought the subscription for the Creative Cloud for Premiere Pro, so hopefully things won't be as big of an issue anymore. Yeah, I lost massive motivation to do the episode, and I've been putting it off all the way until now. And yeah, so all I can say is sorry for that. In addition to putting this off, I have been quite busy in my personal life. Yep, I do hope you enjoy, and I'll see you in a while. Bye. Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode here on the 404 Not Found technical server. Last episode, we were working on the glass factory, designing it up, and we've actually completed it here on the server. It only took a few hours. It's over here in all its glory, and I'm about to do a test run of it, but yep, there was no issues building it. I had some help at the beginning from DH, so thank you DH for that. And I've put all the minecarts in as well, so let's go over here. You can see each module has the minecarts they need. All I've got to do now is actually launch it with the sand in place. I've put in some charcoal already, so let's try and get down here. There we go. So the charcoal's already in here. Just a little bit. There we go. So this will run for approximately an hour. I think we'll be fine for about an hour. However, I'm going to have to keep watch of it just to make sure that we do have enough. We do have more charcoal at the other super smelter that we can bring over if we need to run it, if we end up having some sand built up in the furnaces. But we need to actually load up the furnaces first, so we don't want to run it and then not have enough fuel, because it will initially work for just these furnaces, and then the other ones won't turn on for a while because of the minecarts having to loop around. So if you let it loop around a bit twice, you should have enough. This bit here tells you if the super smelter the glass factory is on or not. So at the moment it's off, which is why it's been powered. Do this, it'll set off the fuel. If we just go into spectator, in a minute it'll come up here and start filling up. So here we go, and then it'll loop all the way around, and once it comes back, it will then refill and we'll loop it again. Okay, it's just finished the second run, so it's about to come back in. This side anyway. The other side should be back in already, I think. Or was it needed? Yep, there we go. And I've turned it back on. Well, technically off, so it won't launch it now. And yeah, it'll just refill with boxes there. So let's have a look. Okay, it's yeah, the fuel we don't care about distributing the items too much about it. We just let it fill all the way up and then launch, and it leaves about half a stack in afterwards, which isn't the end of the world. But yeah, so this way we can have less minecarts to fuel instead of having one per module. If we're going on a large scale, we'd go with like one per module. And with that, let's now go and actually turn the duper on. And all we've got to do for this is just turn the chunk loader on, and that will be it. Make sure the chunk loader works. Yep, it's still working. Right, there's the sand. Let's just turn the hitboxes off, and let's go into spectator. So sand's coming in, and I believe we're going to be binning stuff right now, aren't we? Don't want to bin stuff. I want to loop. Yeah, it's binning. Right, let's just get out of that quickly. Go turn the bin off. So here in the atrium, the bin is this, bin items off. So let's now go back into spectator. So it should start looping. There we go. Starting to loop, which is good. And then over here, yep. Wait, is that? Oh, is that one on? Yep. Okay. Must have just gone through too quickly. Okay, that one's about to go. That one's also about to break. That one's also about to break. Right, we're about to have a few come through. How many we got in there? Just the one at the moment. Okay, so we've got 2 more boxes before it will launch. So probably won't have to wait too long. Full, and it'll break. Now this will launch. There we go. And then all of these will start placing boxes. Yep. 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 Right. And they should start all filling up. There we go. That one's launched. Yep, perfect. That one's launched. That one's launched. That one's launched. That one's launched. And that one's launched. Oh, that's not good. Huh. Interesting. That one didn't launch immediately. Why is that? Ah! There we go. So just, I put 1 ticker delay there. Yeah, I did. Right, cool. That one's fixed then. Let's just, while we're here, let's have a look. This should get exactly 96. There we go. Yeah, perfect. Right. Everything is going very well now. With the glass factory done, there's only one thing we need to do basically to make sure it stays reliable, and that is to deal with the fuel issue. We don't technically have a shortage of fuel. We can just run the farm that's here, which is the universal tree farm, and use that to smelt up the logs into charcoal. One of Ilmango's universal tree farms is the one that he did prior to 1.15. This was built up by Sharp months ago. I think it was even before I joined the server. You know, it's a decently fast one. It does the job, but it's not convenient, mainly because there's not really much we can do to change how things have been done here. So this works completely shulker boxless. So if we actually, you know what, it's going to be a lot easier if I just go to spectate mode. Whoops. So over here is the bone meal input, and it's all chests, and if we were to change it to shulker box loaders, we'd have to try and keep the nice deco there, and to be honest, we don't really want to mess around with the deco here because it's quite nice, and Sharp's not been active over the last few months, so it wouldn't be fair on him if we just went ahead and went, oh, you know what, we'll just completely remove what he did, which is not fair at all. He spent quite a lot of while doing the deco for this and doing the farm, and it's served his needs, and we still can use it for other types of logs when we need it, and it's basically a nice little monument to one of the first, basically the first tree farm on the server. So it's just a bit of his history really, and yeah, that's why we're not gonna change anything here or build anything else here. So this is not an option to use for the fuel, and there's another farm we could use. The other farm is this bad boy, this very efficient log farm designed by Floppy Donkey. However, the area here has already got quite a few things here. So we've got the old General Mob farm over there, we've got the old cobble farm, we've got the new cobble farm, and we've also got a piston crafting, load of piston crafting over here, and there's storage for everything, and then we've got the temporary storage for the piston stuff, and yeah, so there's quite a lot already here, and just being here, I'm already increasing the MSBT above 25. I mean, the DH is also on, and we've got the sand duper running and all that sort of thing, but the sand duper by itself in the glass factory isn't that laggy. It runs about 9 MSBT. So, and if we were to add a charcoal factory essentially here, it wouldn't be nice on the server really. Also, it kind of doesn't really make sense to put it here because we still got the issue of having to send the boxes to the end. That's still going to be all done manually. It'd be nice if we could try and do it completely automatically, and the only way we can do that is to actually have a log factory, a log farm in the end, which we have then a charcoal factory, which is basically another super smelter to smelt down those logs into charcoal in the end and then send those straight to the factory. There are several options for where we should build a charcoal factory. One that probably most people will think to do is just build it right next to the glass factory, so we can just send it that way, but we kind of don't want to have it loaded in at the same time as we load this in, because this is the main thing. We need this loaded in because there's no choice, that's what the concrete factory is. We can still send the boxes here automatically, and the way we're going to do that is using one of these. So one of the gateways here, there's this one, but I think that goes to a wool farm, but it's not the current wool farm, because we do have another one being built up by Johnny, or it's almost pretty much done I think actually, but let's just quickly go in, let's place some netherrack, see what's on this side, and nothing. Okay, so it looks like it was planned, something was planned here, but not the end of the world really. A load of white concrete, okay, that's useful, let's take that. So the idea I have is essentially to remove all the bedrock around this portal, and below it we have a water stream where the boxes can come through, and we can then send them over to the glass factory. It overflows with boxes, then we just send the boxes either straight back, or we send it to another storage. And to be honest, we'll probably just send them straight back, or maybe to the overworld, but in the future. But we haven't got any infrastructure in place to send to the overworld yet. Plus we've got some other plans for this side of the end as well. Let's just take a look at what's on this side. Okay, so this side seems pretty perfect, because it's mostly empty space, so you can build probably most of it on this side actually. But to be honest, this is actually not going to be just the charcoal factory. We're also going to build our tree farm district here, so essentially put as many tree farms as we can in there for each tree type. Have it all in with a central storage and all that sort of thing. Of course, needing charcoal. Charcoal can just be an attachment to one of those farms. But yeah, we'll centre it on this portal here, and we'll want to remove some of the endstone here. So we can build up some TNT flying machines just to remove the endstone around here. And the reason we can do that is so that we have as minimal lag as possible. That's the plan. Never mind, we can't use this location because the gateway for some reason has been broken here. I imagine it was broken originally to build a River Rose farm, but we ended up building it somewhere else in the end when we did originally build it up when I first joined the server. Alright, can't build it here then, so I'm going to have to try a different location, so we're going to have to fly back to the end main island. Be interesting to see what it comes. Oh Christ, I'm very low. There we go, right. Let's try that one again. Let's have a look at it. It's not too bad in terms of removal because we can just build a really long machine this way and it goes that way. Yeah, that sounds like the plan, to be honest. I'll mark the gateway and tell everyone on the server that we're going to use this one. Okay, so I've been hard at work removing the endstone here. It's been mostly successful. Got rid of most of it. Just using the design that I originally came up with for the 7x7 chunk perimeters before we started using Easy's. Easy's is a lot better to use for that sort of thing because this produces a lot of TNT entities, which means that it's very laggy. And the issue with endstone is that it's more blast resistant, so we need to decrease the spacing between TNT. And I didn't bother testing this, so I ended up just building this up and going, okay, well, if I launch them all in sync, it should be alright, which is why there's instant repeaters here. Unfortunately, it does most of the job, and by most of it I mean it removes most of the island. You can see here there's a lot of floating blocks, and the traditional way of getting rid of these floating blocks would be to just get some potions of slow falling, fly around, landing on each one. And I've done that before for some earlier perimeter work, which I did before I started using world eaters. This is like years ago, but yeah, I don't want to do that. I find it boring, painful, and very uninteresting. So I think we can come up with a solution to get rid of these floating blocks using flying machines. I've got a pretty clear idea what I want to do, and then as for this, I think I'll come up with a proper TNT duper design that is very similar to Easy's design. Alright, I'm here on the 44 CMP. Basically, gone ahead and copied in XCOM's World Eater and then removed some of the details that we don't need, because the idea I have to deal with the floating blocks is just to basically push them all the way down until they reach the same level as that remaining part of the end islands. And once it's out there, we can just bomb over it with TNT dupers. I've literally not changed anything. I tried to compact it a little bit like over there, but it didn't really work. I tried to move this down. Nothing really helped when I did that, so I've left it as it is to show you what it does. So yeah, the only thing I've changed really is these fly machines here. So these were originally a bit longer because they were just handling liquid sweeping. Now they're going to handle block pushing down as well. So you could also use these as liquid sweepers if you wanted to. It would get rid of the liquids below you as well, but for this purpose that's not the case. So let's just remove the block here, go up, push it down once, launches the machine, goes down again and pushes it down one more time, and then that machine will dock. There we go. So that's now pushed down in preparation for when this one comes back one below. You see the pistons will push them down. And back down again. So yeah, so really all I've got to do now is just I'm also going to stop this flying machine. But yeah, all I've got to do now is tile this, make it expandable, and the good thing about XCOM's World Eater design, in this case I'm using it specifically for the sweeper bit, it's an AND gate, so this bit here, as you saw, just got retracted. If another sweeper didn't get in, then this piston would stay extended, so it'd be like that. So all the sweepers have to be docked in before we can launch again, and I want to do that in case we, for whatever reason, have a sweeper stuck or can't push blocks down for whatever reason. We can then go and assess it and work out why. Alright, so I have now tiled the entire design, and it's actually a few days later because I was working on a different project, which is actually over there, which is where that square is there. But yeah, you'll see that another day, another episode, some point in the future. But yeah, so I had to go and do that. So yeah, I've just come back to doing this, and I've just expanded it, and I'm about to launch it. I did expand it once before doing that project, and it didn't work because I messed up the that side, so I didn't have the actual AND gate in place. So this bit here, it didn't have the redstone blocks here, so it ended up just not pushing down, which you need to have. So it was a very small issue which resulted in a lot of pain of having to redo the entire thing. So yeah, I've just gone and done that. So let's go ahead and launch it, see just to see how good this is or not. Right, like that launches up, comes down, and the entire thing goes down, and all of them should be up launched. So I've got a bot in the middle there to make sure that it's fully loaded. There we go. And hopefully they'll dock. And in a minute they'll all be pushed down. There we go. You can see that all the pistons are firing as well, so any blocks underneath will get pushed down. Okay, so I've built the machines up on the server. You can see it's already starting to work. This one's just been pushed down, and yeah, it's working pretty well. Did have one little issue where I hadn't got observers in the right place, so it caused some pistons to keep firing in quick succession continuously because of tick priorities and quasi connectivity. So one on the SMP it works because of the rotation and the which piston is prioritized over the other. But yeah, then the rotation I had to rotate it for this, and unfortunately, yeah, it didn't work. So yeah, it was that one over there. The didn't all come down, but it was very easy to fix, so it's all done, it's all working now. And then on this side it's not too much of an issue either. So yeah, so just got to keep it running now until all the blocks are at the bottom, and then once at the bottom it'll be easier to blow them up essentially. Okay, the machine has finished. It's been a couple of hours. Perimeter dig site to basically pass the time, get my dig score up. I want to get to 1 million at some point, be the same point in the table as DH or Niru, but eventually we'll be there. But anyway, it's pushed all the blocks down to basically this level or this level, so it's actually started pushing down the islands as well, because the islands weren't a push limit. So this could have gone even further down, and yeah, don't need to, but could have done. So yeah, now we just need to actually build up some TNT flying machines, better ones, not the ones I used before, so that we don't have to have a repeat of the floating block instant stuff. And that way we can remove the rest of the endstone here, and then we can have complete void. And then yeah, that's going to have to be mined by hand. And is my lodge? Yeah, my lodge is alright. And we're also going to need to remove that portion there with a flying machine as well. So once we've got something for this, we will have the same for that. Alright, so I've been testing for a couple of hours with Easy's trenchers, working out the spacing I need in between it, and turns out it is pretty much as compact as you can make it without changing the fundamental idea or the fundamental mechanics of Easy's trenchers. So pretty much the only thing I have to change in each slice is this redstone block. It has to move there, and then it can be tiled. This piston never gets powered by it. It gets actually this bit gets pushed down before this bit does, and this bit's always going to be at this at least one block above anyway, so you never have to worry about it being powered. So that observer there's needed to push down the last bit here, which is what activates them on the final push. So yeah, so I've done a test with 2 on some endstone. So here I've got a massive endstone block essentially, and with 2 it didn't leave any floating blocks. for a few runs. So I'm very confident that this will work for all of them. If it turns out there's not that many floating blocks left over, like a very few amount, then I'll still consider this successful. But yeah, it's a shame really, because I could have done this to begin with and not had the issue that of what I've had to do for the previous part of the episode with the sweepers. I could have just done this, and even with the sweepers I could have just done this, but yeah, it would have taken a while still to wait for it to go all the way down. So I think the sweepers is worth it to get it all down to the correct level. Then we can just run the dupers a few times, because yeah, I need to be here manually to turn it on and off with this tile block here. So let's just do this test. If it gets pushed down 4 times, and now the last bit gets pushed and then launch. So my frames. Right, so might take a while to see. I'm hoping I don't get kicked either. I'm on my test server, so I have full control over tick warping and all that sort of thing. Got a bot up there to load it in. This is the length that we need as well, by the way. So if it works for this length, we'll be fine. It's still overkill for the amount of islands we have, but it's better to make just one large machine and run the dupers than make several machines just to remove a few bits of island. The terrain is very uneven. It's not like with stone, but that's just because of this different blast resistance. But this will do the job, and my connection is really struggling. Yep, you can see there I'm just getting yanked back several times. Server's doing alright though, it's just my connection. But yeah, it's significantly less TNT entities than with the other machine that I used. And this is also movable, so it means that I don't have to rebuild it. But yeah, you can see here that we've got a very flat surface, and there's no floating blocks at all. The only floating blocks are really at the edges, which is the walls, which we'd expect. But yeah, you might see these bumps here, but they'll get removed on another run. So yeah, very happy with this now. So just all I had to do was just compact Easy's a small amount. Wasn't that much effort. The thing that's taken longer is just doing the testing. It's a shame. I should have just done this to begin with. Should have just not been lazy and just built and just put the work in now and then done it later, and wouldn't have had this floating block issue. But yeah, we need to build one of these up anyway to remove one of the other little bits of island for the tree farm district. But yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and just get this up and running on the SMP. And already this is looking very promising. It's starting to remove the old parts, and looks like it's going to get all of it, which is really good. So the bit here though, might have to mine manually if we decide we need to. Probably will have to push this back further anyway in the future, but for now it's fine. But yeah, the main big islands are getting removed now. So it looks like on the next run we should get rid of pretty much all of it. Sweepers are going to get blown up. They've got blown up on the other side, which is good. I did purposely put it above it to make sure it did that. And yeah, so it looks like we only needed one run of this, so it's taken about probably an hour or two to build up the entire thing. It's just me doing it, so I had to do this side and that side. But in the end, it's worth it because it's significantly. It would take hours to remove the end stem by hand, whereas here it's only taken a couple hours to build it up and then a few minutes to remove it all. So yeah, like I said, very happy with it. Anyway, let's watch it get the final bit in a minute. So it should blow up the, there we go. Left some on the other side, but I'm going to have to mine that manually, but that's fine. Interesting, so I'm going to have to go one more run for this. Thought we would have been okay for just this one. Oh well, not the end of the world. And there we go. We now have complete void in this entire area. Just fly over, Going to F5, you see pretty much complete void, with except for that bit there, which I need to mine out manually. Then yeah, and then over here is what we got. So if we stand on the platform, you'll see that if we're standing right in the middle, so the idea is it render distance from right in the middle. Yeah, you can't see anything that way, and you can see that, so that needs to go. That's the last thing we need to do, but we'll do that at the start of the next episode. But yeah, everything else has been pretty much done. They've got to mine the cell, then mine the remaining blocks there. With that, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's been quite a long one again, I'm really sorry about that, but I wanted to show you pretty much the entire process through it. And yeah, and a lesson from this is the fact that I should have just done the dupes immediately, done that way, and then I wouldn't have had any issues with the floating blocks. So if you're thinking about, you know, doing what I'm doing for the end for any reason, just do the thing with the dupers. I'll provide a limatic on the 4.4 Discord for the end version of it. So it'll just be 2 modules together, and you can tile them to as long as you want them to be. Anyway, with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I shall see you again real soon. Bye bye.